come across this list today of 10 ancient technologies that are far ahead of their times. So I thought we'd just go over it together. I'll read it to you and you can tell me in the comments what you think about them, if it was possible or not. Do you think it was the ancient gods that taught us how to build? A lot of people in the ancient scripture tell us this. There was, like you say, the levitating stones in Egypt. A lot of people, and most people in their origin stories talk of gods coming down and teaching them things. So we're going to go over this list anyway and see what you think. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you think, if it can be explained. In this list we take a closer look at striking examples of advanced ancient technologies that were far ahead of their time. Some of these sophisticated ancient inventions were later reinvented by our modern society, but not all. There is no doubt that ancient people possessed highly advanced knowledge in a number of areas. So number 1 on the list is the ancient Peruvian softened stones. So there is a citadel on the northern outskirts of the city of Cusco, Peru, the historic capital of the Inca Empire. Archaeologists and other scientists have been scratching their heads to figure out how remarkable ancient Peruvian structures like the citadel were constructed. This marvellous structure consists of gigantic stones, so heavy that our modern machinery can't handle the move. Does the key to the puzzle lie in a certain very specific plant that gave the ancient Peruvians the possibility to soften stone? Or is the answer to the mystery access to advanced ancient technology that could melt stone? According to researchers, the granite walls of Cusco were evidence of being heated to a high degree and vitrified, the outer surface becoming glassy and very smooth. Based on this observation, the researchers say some sort of high-tech device was used to melt the stone blocks, which were then placed and allowed to cool next to hard jigsaw blocks that were already in place. The researchers say that several ancient civilizations worldwide were familiar with the high-tech melting of stone. They also say that the stones of some of the ancient streets in Cusco have been vitrified by some high temperature to give them their characteristic glassy texture. The next one is the water temple at Peru. It's a marvellous engineering masterpiece of the Incas. The Incas were known for their engineering practices, particularly in regard to water engineering. Their designs of water systems was influenced by their strong beliefs in the power of water. They saw water as both a physical and spiritual phenomenon. They considered their great civilization as something that arose from water. The temple in Peru was constructed for worship of deities who gave the Inca people water. Even today, in our modern terms, the structure represents the Incas' masterpiece of both civil engineering and construction. It was designed to focus on religious ceremonies. The Lycurgus Cup is a fascinating artifact that reveals prehistoric knowledge of nanotechnology. This amazing artifact clearly shows that our ancestors were far ahead of their time. In fact, they were so advanced that they may have even been inventors of what we call today nanotechnology. This extraordinary cup is the only surviving complete example made from dictoric glass, which changes colour when held up to the light. When light is shown through the body of the cup, it turns from opaque green to a glowing translucent red. The glass contains a tiny amount of collidable glass and silver, which give it these unusual optical properties. Another good example revealing our ancestors were familiar with nanotechnology are the microscopical small nanospirals within material that had to be at least 100,000 years old, have been detected in several places during a routine investigation of mineral deposits in the Ural Mountains in 1992. The origin of these extraordinary but strange artifacts that the human eye can barely see is still not explained. The ancient Baghdad batteries. The ancient Baghdad batteries, a small artifact with rather a plain appearance, is believed by some scientists to be an example. A 2,000-year-old electric battery was found in 1936 by railroad workers in the area of the south of Baghdad. Most sources date the batteries to around 200 BC, but the first known electrical battery was not invented until 1799. The bottom of these mysterious cylinders were capped with copper discs and sealed with bitumen or asphalt, and held in place the iron rods suspended into the centre of the copper cylinders. The rods showed a strong evidence of having been corroded by an acid solution that evaporated long ago. There is a column in India made up of 98% wrought iron of impure quality, not in any way welded together, seems to have been forged as a single gigantic piece of iron. The antediluvians had technologies that matched our own. There are also serious incidents that in certain areas they even possessed extraordinary knowledge. Highly advanced hardening techniques of the ancients, as well as ancient castings of large pieces, were widespread in antiquity. Our ancestors were in possession of extremely sophisticated scientific knowledge of metalworking from an earlier civilization, and evidence of this knowledge was found in different parts of the world. China, with a long history of metallurgy, was the earliest civilization that manufactured cast iron, and some of the ancient Chinese feats of casting iron are so impressive as to be almost unbelievable. Ancient Indians, for example, produced iron capable of withstanding corrosion, most likely due to the highly phosphorus content of the iron produced during those times. A column of cast iron 7 meters high, weighing approximately 6 tons, with a diameter of 16 inches, in the courtyard in Delhi in India. An inscription in the Sanskrit language informs us that the column was originally erected in the temple of Mutra and capped with messages of the gods. Aqueducts are the most exceptional achievements of ancient Roman engineers. In 312 BC, a Roman politician ordered that an aqueduct be built to supply Rome with water. Among all the achievements of ancient engineering, Roman aqueducts belong to the most exceptional ones. Engineers in the ancient Roman Empire knew that one of the most fundamental requirements for any town or city to exist is to supply it with water, because it is a basic human need. The city must have water to cook and clean, but it also must have an indispensable arrangement to remove unwanted water. Ancient Romans were highly skilled engineers. By the early 4th century AD, Rome was being supplied by more than 12 aqueducts, which cooperatively brung more than 1 million cubic meters of fresh water to the city every day. This massive amount of water was delivered to Rome's inhabitants through a complex network of tanks, pipes, and about 1,500 public fountains, pools, and almost 900 public and private baths. In Viking times, the magical sunstone showed sailors the road when the sun went down. The Norse sagas mention a mysterious sunstone, a magical stone which showed sailors the road when the sun disappeared. Now researchers say the stone is real and it's a very special crystal. One of the reasons why the existence of sunstones have been disputed because they are contained in the sagas of Saint Olaf, a tale with many magical elements. However, this has changed. Sunstones can no longer be considered just a myth. Archaeologists have discovered a special crystal that suggests legendary Viking sunstone did exist in reality. Ancient sophisticated mercury-based gilding. Sometimes the technology was used to apply real gold and silver. It also was used fundamentally to make cheap material structures that looked like solid gold or silver. Ancients were in possession of very sophisticated knowledge. Ancient gold and silversmiths used mercury, which was produced more than 8,000 years ago in Turkey. Mercury was used for gilding in domes, interiors and cathedrals. In many parts of the ancient world, many of the ancient techniques are still unknown. They were so skilled that some of the quality they achieved has still not been matched. Highly advanced robots in ancient China. In ancient China, we come across a number of highly advanced robots that could sing, dance, act like servants, and perform many other surprising tasks. Some of these remarkable robots are even said to possess lifelike organs such as bones, muscles, joints, skin, and hair. There is no doubt mechanical engineering in ancient China reached a very high level.